Interest rate versus APR. We've covered this one time before, but this is like, I think every client has this question. What's the difference between my interest rate and my APR?
See, I don't get that as much anymore because we don't have truth in lendings at closing anymore. Now, granted, it's on the closing disclosure, but before you would have your HUD statement and then you would get your truth in lending, which would have the APR. Like if you go buy a car, you're going to look at your little purchase agreement from the car dealership, and it's going to show what your annual percentage rate is on there.
Right.
And so, but we don't really get this very much at the closing anymore, but you guys probably still do.
Yeah, we still get it.
Isn't the APR pretty much the return to the investor, which tabulates in the cost of the fees that you're also charging? Is that correct?
It's basically the cost of the fees factored into the interest rate. It's really all it boils
I would always say it costs you money to borrow money.
It always costs money to borrow money.
And so what you're looking at is an overall cost of doing business by acquiring this loan. So not only what you're repaying the lender, but the cost to acquire the loan.
Conventional versus FHA. A lot of people get so confused on this, and there's not a really simplistic way to explain it, but basically, conventional, I would say, is if you fit in that, I always like to describe it as the bullseye, the target, the skeet ball, or whatever. You go to the games and so forth, at the arcade or whatever, you're shooting archery and you're trying to hit that bullseye on the target. And the conventional is that center red dot. And if your credit score is just right, your debt to income ratio is just right, your down payment's just right, everything else comes in line, your income, the way your income's documented, everything just fits the box within the conventional rules, then that's where you want to be. If you don't, then all those outer rings on that target is FHA.
What's the technical difference between an FHA loan and a conventional loan?
The technical difference?
Mm-hmm.
One's government-backed and one's going through a quasi-government agency.
Yeah.
That's
so
really
one is specifically insured and backed by the federal government through the Department of Housing.
Yep.
Correct?
And urban development.
Urban development.
Yeah. And the other one is backed and sold and exchanged amongst banks by a quasi-government, either Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae.
Correct.
Government agency.
Yep.
And they're both publicly traded. You can buy and sell stock in those companies if you want to.
Yep.
And that's also part of how the 30-year bond market gets set.
Exactly.
Right?